Hello and welcome to the Unknown Comics Podcast, episode 34. I'm Brandon. There's Darren.
Unknown Comics.
Unknown Comics. Yeah. Cool.
Moist. Moist.
And Tanner and Chris.
Yeah.
So you can see
Like 5 people.
If you're
never listen again because I just said that word.
Yep. You said moist. Hope everybody's having a good Thursday, or people that are listening after the fact.
Spoiler alert.
We are live on Twitch. If you're listening on podcast, you can always catch us doing the podcast live on Thursdays. Most Thursdays.
We've missed one in more than half a year, sadly.
No.
Well, I guess a couple of...
Are we really on episode 34?
Yeah.
So this is what, episode 9 for me?
And we've only actually missed 1 week this whole time.
Yeah, because the week of
technically we had
Black Widow, we did it the next day, right?
Skip week.
We had our half week that never actually got posted. The mysterious second week.
Yeah. As far as recorded. Now live, we've missed live a bunch of times.
Yeah. Still not too many, though.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we got a lot of stuff happening this week. So that way we can get into comic stuff later. The big thing that happened this week is Warhammer Plus launched.
False.
What?
But I'll accept it.
That's one of the big things.
That is not the biggest thing that happened
I
this week.
said there was a lot of big things that happened this week, is what I said.
I just know that Spider-Man wins all of this week.
Okay, we'll talk about that. Would you just let me run the damn show?
Hey, we have a
By the way,
list.
you're both pretty.
We have a list
God.
over here, and that's not number 1, Darren.
I know, but I needed to agitate Brandon from the beginning. I need him on his A game.
All right, we can just skip 2 now, Brandon, because that's what Darren wanted to talk about, so we can skip 2.
So we're skipping Warhammer Plus based on the order of how that looks.
No.
Intro, Warhammer Plus. That's 2. Moving on to Hickman.
So anyway, Warhammer Plus.
That's what he wanted to talk about.
This is why we don't let Darren on the show anymore.
He's muted.
He's muted. He's going to talk through your mic. Anyway, Warhammer Plus, for real, though. Darren hasn't seen any of it.
I haven't seen any of it yet.
Darren doesn't
rip your
like
ears off.
He doesn't like the universe. He just wants to play the game.
No, I think he would watch this stuff.
I mean, the thing is, I don't like reading all that much without pictures.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'll listen to audiobooks, but
The current comic books they're doing are actually pretty good. That
Yeah,
GW
they've been really
put
good.
out.
but when it comes to like the stuff, like I'll probably watch it. I just haven't watched it. I
Well, it
don't
just came
wa-
out yesterday.
Yeah.
and I just don't watch TV. Like
Sisters
I
of Battle #1 was really... It was
Yeah.
even better than Marnie's Calgar.
It's on
I
my
thought.
desk. It's on the
Now-
list.
It'd been cool if we'd had an exclusive for that.
Yeah, I know.
Is Marvel the only comic publisher for them right now?
Yes.
Or is
Yes.
Titan.
Okay.
They took over the licensing from Titan.
Okay. All right. So they
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at the Citadel this weekend, and they had an exclusive for Marnie's Calgar.
Yeah.
The Miko.
No,
cover?
Miko was for 4.
No, it was
this was
not
for
the
5.
Miko.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I
Where
guess...
where Marvel took our idea and
Like,
then
literally
gave, like,
everything we asked
everything
for.
we asked them to do and our artists and said, "Hey,
Here you
Miko,
go,
make this
Games
cover
Workshop."
for us."
Yeah. It's like, no, they don't want to. They don't want to spread that love. Like, what you the money?
So Tanner, what all is Warhammer Plus?
So you
For
get...
those that don't know.
you get
It's
access,
$6 a month or $60 a year, right?
Yes.
It's like $55 a year, right?
Well, after tax, it was about
Oh, yeah,
65
Tax.
Yep.
tax.
Government.
But yeah, so... But if you do the year, you get 2 months
Did you
free.
say doo doo?
Doo-doo?
I called it first.
If you do,
So, but you get access to the animations. You get access to both the Sigmar and the 40K app.
The new Sigmar app,
The new
not the old
Sigmar
one.
app.
But the old one's pretty much dead now, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't
So why
update
would-
it for
yeah.
a 3rd edition. And then you get one of 2 miniatures, and then the option to buy the other miniature.
And if you are already subscribed to the 40K app, you get the other miniature too.
But that's only for this year, correct?
Yeah.
Because they're going to put out 2 miniatures every year.
Yeah, you had to have already been subscribed.
I do like that Vindicator
that.
Assassin.
That's the
Pretty
one.
cool.
We both picked that one.
But the Orc one's pretty cool too. I just don't like orcs.
The Orc one's also Sigmar.
I didn't feel like the Orc one was iconic enough
You
to be
had
an
a-
exclusive model.
You add a gun to that.
Yeah, I mean, people kit bash it.
Yeah.
Do whatever they
I mean,
want.
the kit bash.
Orcs
put
and
a-
demons, they're this kind of the easiest to... Well, now orcs look completely different, though.
Well, there's
That's
well,
only that one sub faction.
Yeah, and Sigmar has like 3 or 4 different kinds of orcs already anyway. So
I think all GW orcs need to be wide-jawed, Cockney, accented.
What did you
Idiots.
just cock? What?
Cockney. See,
That's what orcs talk like. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's,
so-
that's what you got in that episode on
And Hammer and
Warhammer
Bolter.
Plus.
On the day of launch, you had 1 episode of Angels of Death and 3 episodes of Hammer and Bolter.
Which Hammer and Bolter is it's an anthology series. It's a
Yep.
different story each time.
Have you seen more than just the one?
I've just seen Old Bela.
That's
So
all I've seen.
I
also
haven't
so
finished
far.
that one, but I've
Yeah.
watched the other two.
I thought it was good. I thought it got kind of slow towards the end.
he got loud. He got
got real
excited.
loud.
He got excited. It's okay.
I feel like it was. It was.
I can't wait till
It almost felt like a story that should have been in another story.
Yeah.
It was like the opening scene of Moana, where they're telling the story of Maui. Is how the whole episode felt to me.
Well, I can tell you the second one was rough. Second one's rough.
like rough bad.
Emotionally rough or
Like just it was hard for me to watch.
like
Just
Incest? What?
It's slow. It's really slow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get
Gotcha.
to the end of it and you're like, all right, finally you got there. But how long was that?
Yeah.
Like,
I am kind of
But
afraid.
I was like that with Love, Death, and Robots. I mean, with those
Yeah.
anthology series, you're gonna have
the first one's
Peaks
good.
and valleys.
It's about an inquisitor, so I liked that one.
we still don't know how often they're going to release episodes. We'll see next week if it's going to be a weekly
Yeah.
or what.
The master classes and the painting master class and the battle reports are supposed to be weekly.
But that stuff is free.
No.
Right? No, that's exclusive
The
content.
master class and the battle reports are part of the plus.
Okay. But there is Warhammer TV has a Roku app,
yeah.
and there is free content on there.
Yeah, it's a lot of their YouTube content basically
Oh, okay.
they put on there.
That's cool. I mean, I think that's a value, but it's like I've always said. It's a good value if you're a Warhammer player and you're into that. They need to take that same video content and make an agreement with one of the other streaming providers.
It'll
because
just help push stuff so much.
it's going to give exposure to. Because here's the thing: if I'm not a Warhammer fan, I'm not subscribing to Warhammer Plus.
Well, it was like that Netflix show, the chess show. When,
Yeah.
Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, like when that show came out on Netflix, like chess sales went through the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everybody wanted to play chess. If they made a deal like that with Netflix or another streaming service like Hulu,
Yeah.
I mean, Disney owns Marvel. Marvel has the rights to Warhammer, so why not just put it on Hulu?
Well,
Or
perfect.
even make some sort of agreement to have a show about Warhammer players. Not even about Warhammer.
Yeah.
Just
Whoa. Nobody watched that.
Stranger Things. They did the same thing with D&D.
Yeah. but that's not all the show was
They
about.
use little kids.
Yeah.
They didn't use,
It's
guys that
12
look
plus.
like us.
No, like even
12 plus.
even if they weight staggered it, it came out first in Warhammer Plus, and then 6 months later we're going to drop it on Hulu or Netflix or whatever. Because case in point, Wizards could probably do about the exact same thing with D&D and Magic content as far as stuff like that.
Well,
but
they
what
are.
are they doing? They partnered with Netflix to do
they're
a
making
Magic
it-
show,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Because
there's
they
a D&D show coming as well.
because they know
Yeah.
they could probably generate enough content to make their own app
Yeah.
and channel. But that's I don't think for the video content for narrative video content.
and
I
that's
think it's like-
Hasbro, right? Because Hasbro's over all that now, so
Yeah.
they're knowing that.
Yeah, they've already sent
we're not-
toy licenses to it too.
Yeah,
so.
we're gonna make sure we go through the channels that are
I-
available.
I am glad they at least have an app for Roku and stuff like that, so
Yeah,
I
I
can
was
watch it on
surprised.
my TV without too much hassle of
Airplane.
I knew
and
there
stuff
was going to
like
be
that.
a mobile app, but I didn't know about the TV one. That's why I looked it up. I was like, they have a Roku app. Yes. Like, because, yeah, I airstreamed the Angels and Blood, and then I realized they had the Roku app, and I was like, dang it.
I'm with you on that, though. I think that they should be thinking bigger,
Yeah.
and they should be putting this on, instead of thinking, the way I would compare that is we have a website. Our website has a dedicated fan base that knows about Unknown Comics. And then you have eBay. eBay is basically a worldwide, everybody knows about eBay and the whole
Yep.
world if you know about the internet. So you should be on both.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
And
pay
one, one should funnel you into the other.
Right. You pay a little bit extra to be here to get people to eventually just come to you straight.
Yeah.
But there should always be, your big goal should always be on Netflix because Netflix is a worldwide name. I mean,
Yeah.
if you give them a little bit extra, bigger cut, for people to download and watch that content, so be it.
I honestly thought if they were going to sign with anybody, it would have been Amazon.
I mean, even
With Prime.
Amazon, yeah, I mean, Prime would be okay because Prime's a huge deal and as a huge gaming outlet.
Yep.
And almost everybody has Prime because everybody has a freaking Prime account.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, and especially if you are watching it on a computer or something, it's going to have ads. They could link you right to all the gaming merchandise right on Amazon.
You inject your own ads into
Yeah.
that content. Shoot.
So I do think that they missed a big monetarily advantage. Again, look what Queen's Gambit did for chess. Look what Stranger Things did for D&D.
Yeah.
I mean, the list goes on. I mean, as games pop up, people become curious.
And maybe they do have a long-term plan to eventually port that. Once they've released it for so long, maybe they are going to put it somewhere. They just don't want to say it yet.
Yeah.
Because they want
They don't want people to wait.
They want the Warhammer fans to go ahead and
Yeah.
get into Plus. Maybe
But the
that's
whole goal should always be to create new fans, not cater to the old ones.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of been all of our biggest gripe the whole time about this thing. It's just that it needs to be.
Yeah, I mean,
We want to grow the community.
yeah.
and I understand that. Like, I've played Warhammer since 1998. I am not an active player right now, but I collect stuff, and I still like models, and I still pick up models from time to time. I'm not your target audience. I'm not.
Yeah.
I am a byproduct of your target audience, and that is bringing new players who are going to spend new money into your product. And it's the same thing with comics. I mean, that's what makes the movie so great for comic books. The movies inspire new readers, which brings new readers into the comic book stores, which then gives a whole new income level to the comic book stores.
Yep.
Now, most of those readers will eventually burn out because they don't actually want to collect comics. It just was cool for a minute.
Yeah.
But that should always be what you're targeting. Your target should always be, where is my new customer? It's not, hey, Tanner, you love Warhammer. Let's give you an app for $55 a month. It's, hey, you over there who's never seen my stuff. I need to tell you about your extended car warranty running out.
Right. Well,
And that's what it
especially-
needs to be like. It needs to be like a hassle-targeted method.
especially when you're catering to some of us older players. Yeah, you're going to get that $55 from me, but you're not going to get a ton of model sales because a lot of stuff I already have everything I need. you
Yeah.
know? Unless
And-
it's a new release.
Not to mention, you've been looking at the YouTubes for years on all your information. You know how to look up battle reports, and you know how
Yeah.
to look up the
And,
content and,
you
the
know-
painting and master class. You're probably on a Patreon some sort of way.
And I probably know people that do that stuff better than the actual GW staff.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, again, I don't know, like, honestly, the only reason I even know there was a Warhammer Plus app is because you guys talked about it, because I've never seen anything pop up about it.
You know, that's the big thing, right? Like, how are they actually going to get this out for people to even want to go into it?
They're only marketing it on their channels.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
And
that's their target audience. Is
That it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like, it should never be their target audience. Their
Yeah.
target audience should always be
And it could be
new
that they're
players.
using all of us like beta, right?
But I will
know?
say they launched it at the right time of year, and if they would have picked the right target audience, you know why this is the right time of year, guys, to target new people?
Because it's cold.
No. Should I take a guess on why this is the perfect time to launch an app targeted to brand new players?
Christmas time.
Nope. Not yet.
Brandon. That's just my name. Now.
There's a
Derek, Brandon.
there is a particular reason why this would have been the perfect time to launch this app at brand new players, especially on the age groups in which it would have been targeted. If you would have targeted from
Probably
16 to 30 is really what I'm trying to get at here. I'm going to go ahead and you're just going to keep thinking, and the wheels are going to keep turning. Student loans. People get student loans this time of year. They pay off whatever little they have to get through school, and then they blow the rest of it on stupid shit because they don't know what they're doing with their money.
Yeah.
I mean, as a business owner, like the way Warhammer money comes in, you look for income tax returns, you look for extra COVID money,
Yeah.
and then you look for
Is it
student
August?
loan money.
Is it
Because,
September 15th?
You can buy Warhammer at the Emerald College bookstore.
Yes, I mean it's in our colleges.
I never could do that. Like, my student loan only ever paid my tuition, and I never got, like...
But did you go to a bank and get a big student loan, or did you just get
A lot of times
I
it
did,
depends
like,
on
Stafford loans
Also
through
depends
the-
on your advisors too. They may
Yeah.
be like, they may not have told you. You could have
mean,
pulled more than what
I'm
you
not,
could have got.
I'm not sad.
Because
I would
a
have been stupid.
a lot of people get student loans that are big enough to cover, like, so they don't have to get a job.
That's true, too.
And so what they do is they get that money, they go blow it all in the early days. So this would have been the perfect time to target audience.
Yep. Do like
New
Walmart
players.
line the entire aisle with $500 TVs because you know the government just sent out $500 checks.
Correct. I mean, why wouldn't you do that? I mean,
Yeah.
the best time to run a sale? Right now. I mean, if we wanted to run a sale on the website, you know what the best time is right now? Well, actually, September 15th.
Yeah, September 15th would
when
be a good one.
when that next child support check comes from the
Oh,
government.
Yeah.
That's what it is now. It's just child support to us.
Yeah. Yep. I mean,
You're
that's what it
raising
is.
you're raising our future. Here's
the
$1,300.
credits.
The child tax credits,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, Warhammer Plus, it's a thing. I'm gonna let y'all get it and
The vault. You also get access to the vault, which is older published
White
work.
Dwarfs
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah, again,
Yeah, I mean, for the price, it actually is a good deal for the price.
Well-
but I think as far as just that, it's that audience thing.
I'm gonna tell you right now that you should be paying $0 for any app, any list building app, because so many other
Well-
game
Companies.
manufacturers
And
just
that's
make
why
it free.
I didn't
Yeah.
do the list building apps before. I refused
Well,
to
I
get
mean-
the 40K app because I'm not paying $4 a month for a list builder.
Yeah.
But if it's looped into this, because I'm actually paying for the animation content. That's what I'm paying
Yeah.
for.
Well, now you can go back and put all your codex codes in for
Well-
the 40K app too.
Well,
Right.
that miniature alone is probably worth $40.
Yeah, he'd probably be more than that. I mean, he's
In a couple years, when he's retired and you can't get him anymore because they've moved on to the next model for the next year,
Keep them in the blister.
he'll be worth $100
Yeah.
and then 200. I mean,
yeah, he'll be. You okay over there?
I've had something in my eye for like the last hour.
It's your finger.
My fingers trying.
For some reason, I keep feeling pressure in my eye.
It's like a hair stuck in there or something.
Oh, I shouldn't have touched my eye.
Yeah, it was like you're poking that hard over there, Jim Carrey.
Let me get the other one for you.
Yeah. So, all right. So pivoting to comic books, non-digital. So we knew Jonathan Hickman was scaling back. He was going to be the overarching writer for everything. He was going to kind of bring Inferno in. Did they just reveal that he's done?
So it's never really been talked about on like what Jonathan. Everybody just assumes because Jonathan doesn't have anything after Inferno that he's done with the X-Men. Because all these big writers are moving to this digital content. Sublime something. I don't know. All the big writers are moving to some kind of digital content release thing, and they all think Hickman's moving to that as well. Now, from what I gather from our signing with Hickman,
I doubt they're all going to that. It's probably going to be something they're doing. And
Yeah.
this.
from what I gather with Hickman is that he is just over the overall flow of the X-Men story from here on out.
Almost like a
He's an editor.
subline
Yeah.
editor. Yeah.
Kind of like Donnie Cates was supposed to be with the Marvel Knights, but then that never happened.
Yeah, he made a comment about that on the Twitter. Now you want Marvel Knights because of that new game.
Midnight Suns.
Yeah.
So really, I think it's more like Hickman will still be involved, but I mean they already transferred the X-Men book to Dugan.
Jerry. Yeah, Duggan.
Duggan.
Sorry.
We've been saying it wrong for so long.
Yeah,
We didn't know.
it's-
Sorry,
it's-
Jerry, if you're listening. You're probably not.
We've been
Anyway,
saying
it's Duggan.
we've been saying Shang-Chi for so long.
Shang-
Finally, I see all the trailers and it's Shang-Chi.
I thought it's Shang-Chi.
Nope. All the promo marketing, it's Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi.
Are they saying it out loud?
Yeah, like in the trailer, like the voice of Shang-Chi in The Legend of the Ten Rings opening.
I'm allowed to say Shang.
I'm going to go with Shang-Chi still.
No, you're not. You're white. You're not allowed to say it.
That's why I just said I'm allowed
Whoa. I think Hickman still has an involvement. I think Hickman will still be on later, bigger books.
I mean, he can kind of set like the guideline Bible and just be like,
Yeah,
to. It also depends on.
and we know a lot of the books are ending soon. Like a lot of the books around Christmas are going to start winding down, and then we're going to have this big Wolverine event, and then a lot of the books will pick back up again.
Yeah, we know the first quarter of next year is all about
Something about Wolverine. We don't know much, but we know Wolverine.
that is all we know.
I mean, I see him doing the events.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what he straight up said that, he's an event guy. He doesn't want to be a monthly
Quit
guy.
rubbing it.
Which
I'm sorry it hurts.
I mean, I really enjoyed the events, but like just his day-to-day issues were take or leave for me. But the Jerry Duggan,
Well, I mean, and
Issues
that's
have been
a lot of that was
awesome.
because he was Claremont wordy.
He is a bit
Yeah.
wordy. And to me, like, what, and I read through like issue 11.
And he
then-
loves those info pages.
Yeah, I was about to say when you
Yeah,
have
I
to
skipped the
stop
info
reading your
pages.
comic to read the novel next to it.
Yeah, I don't even read the white pages. If it's a white page, I'm like, skip.
And then you're
Pass.
like, wait, I have to go back and read that?
Oh, I
No,
never
somebody
did.
else tell me what it said.
Yeah. Someone else will tell me. It's fine.
Go watch a YouTube video for 45 minutes instead of reading the 5 minutes of white pages.
Why'd you have to make your own alphabet?
but like so
But
far,
like but I also know that like Marvel derailed his run on X-Men a little bit by saying, his Powers in House was too popular. And,
oh yeah,
And then,
they didn't own Fox yet.
Let's spread this out a little bit.
Yep.
And so it's been spread out and it's done what it's going to do. And it's been a great run. I mean, overall, it got us to Mystique didn't do what she was supposed to do. I mean, from 1 to 21, Mystique didn't do what she was supposed to do in the Top the Sentinel program.
Well, and then not only that, we got the death of Scarlet Witch.
You got the death of Scarlet Witch.
We got Mars.
You have Mars terraformed.
And Krakoa, a big
Krakoa.
giant.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
Krakoa and
Mating islands.
Akroa. a Croa,
Baby.
Araco.
Araco.
And then they make baby.
You know,
volcanoes.
and you met Apocalypse's, first wife. She was a doozy.
Yeah, no,
I mean, you got all kinds of great things that came out of it. The big story arc with X of Swords was Ten of Swords was good. You're welcome. The Gala thing that Jerry came up with was fun. It was a unique idea. It was cool to find out that was like his instrument, and like he said, "Hey guys, if you all would like to join me in the Gala event, y'all can all join me in the books. But this is what I'm doing with my book." So the entire Gala thing was a cover up. You know, like he had told us, it was a cover up for the whole like mutants taking over Mars.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just kind of a fun information, and and now it feel like the X-Men are superheroes again.
Yeah.
And that's what we
His
got with
first
Jerry's
2
run.
Issues of X-Men have been phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like, I trust with what they're doing with the X-Men. I believe that Marvel knows that the X-Men is the direction they can go now that Disney owns everything.
Well, not only that, but I mean, ultimately, that is what they sell, right?
Yeah,
like
I mean,
they're the Spider-Man and
X-Men.
X-Men,
and I have 23 more issues of X-Men I have to do to break the record, so they need to just keep going.
Yeah,
Well, and what's cool is
I have to get to 47.
we had a video game launch this week that had an X-Men to the start.
yeah.
And at launch, which was Storm. Prior to this, no X-Men game or no Marvel game within the past like 10 years either had X-Men characters or at least launched with it. Strike Force did have Wolverine.
Yeah, it had Wolverine because
And
that was
at the
your.
start.
But
your,
you didn't start with them. You had to work your way to it.
Yeah, and of course they announced Midnight Suns, and you saw at least Magic and Wolverine in it.
yeah.
So we're finally starting to see, oh, hey, we can market them together again. It's still
Yeah.
annoying that, you buy a T-shirt and it's one or the other,
Yeah. Well, and, there's a lot of speculation that eventually, part of this whole multiverse thing that Scarlet Witch is going to get in a fight with a key mutant character. And they're always trying to figure out, like, the more the multiverse breaks for the MCU, I think the more likely we are going to get the X-Men and Fantastic Four. So,
Well, they've already said they're doing Fantastic Four.
well, we know that, but you still have to figure out. I still hope. So, let's,
We can. That's a perfect segue into our next section.
Yeah,
Good
there
job.
we go. I still hope that, like, my envisionment and how the Fantastic Four join the Marvel Universe is they do a movie set back in the 60s where they go into space, they get lost in the quantum zone, and then we find out when Ant-Man came back at the end of Endgame that they followed them back out. They found their way out. And so they come out of this quantum time because time doesn't exist there in, the same time. So they come out of
Yeah,
that.
because Janet Van Dyne got powers when she was in the quantum realm.
Yeah,
It would be
so-
really funny if we see them walking around in the background in the next season of Loki while he's in the city, because everyone thinks that city's in the quantum zone.
right.
What king is that?
Yeah.
So the Fantastic Four
Chronopolis.
pop out. They get to do a movie that's set back in the 60s now because it's been fun kind of going back because you had what? Captain America in the 40s. You had Captain Marvel in the 80s? 90s?
90s.
So it's been kind
They
of fun.
said there will be more prequels.
Yeah. I still hope they bring Chris Evans back for a solo movie of what he did with Agent Carter after he came back.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to tie to anything. It can be its own movie.
We know what he did with her.
That's a different.
But did they have any kids?
Never says.
Well, she
So-
says she has kids.
So
Yeah.
Is Sharon Carter not related to Peggy Carter?
Niece.
That's her. Yeah,
Niece,
it's
okay.
yeah, it's a niece.
yeah, niece.
Well,
Otherwise, that'd be real weird.
Yeah,
Captain
like-
America kissing on his.
Kevin Feige's like, did I just do a George Lucas?
Did I kiss my daughter?
Did Peggy Carter exist in the comics before First Avenger?
I don't remember.
Sharon Carter did.
Sharon Carter did, but I don't know if
I
Peggy
think-
Carter did.
I think they created her just for First Avenger.
Oh, no.
She's in there now, but
So I know we're going to talk about the two big trailers that dropped over the last 2 weeks, but we have to start with Spider-Man because that trailer was just crazy.
yeah.
And people are saying Mephisto.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Well, and it again, I think it makes sense to where they want to go with the story. I also saw today that somebody said that Doctor Strange is Mysterio.
Yeah. So
that or Mephisto or or
we start off with now we have two legit cosplays that I can pull off. We
Yeah.
have Fat Thor and Cold Doctor Strange.
and frumpy Doctor Strange.
I think that's like everybody's question is like, why is there snow in there?
yeah.
Everybody wants to know
He
that.
can't afford his heating bill. There's not a lot of money in
just
being Sorcerer
sitting
Supreme.
there with his just sitting there with his sweatshirt on and his sweatpants and his cape and a coffee cup. Yeah,
Have
the
you
first
seen all
thing I
the people,
think of.
like, super zoomed into the coffee cup?
Uh-uh.
It says "What the Fox," something like that.
All I know is like
That's a nice.
by the time we get to Boston this weekend, there's going to be cosplay of this already.
Yeah.
Like it was this week. By this weekend, this next weekend, it'll be cosplay.
Did y'all see Captain Britain at the shows?
We did. There's been so many.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, like
Wow.
it was, and they're good. They're
And
legit
Free
good.
Guy. Saw Free Guy. Like
Yeah, we saw a
Saturday.
free guy a lot, but that's easy.
So how
I know, but it's still good.
how long until Betsy Braddock gets a new code names just so they can differentiate in the comics?
I don't know, but
Well, they've been calling her
Well, and
the
she's
new
not
character's
Captain.
Captain Carter.
She's
yeah,
Captain
she's Captain
Carter.
Carter in the cartoon.
Yeah,
right,
I think that's how they differentiated that to make sure it wouldn't be confusing.
But overall, I mean, you just saw so much craziness in that trailer. And then you see, which Green Goblin are we going to get? Are we going to get the William Dafoe? Or are we
Well, that
gonna
was
get-
his laugh.
It was his laugh for sure.
And then, of course, we saw Doc Ock. Hey, Peter. And I think they're going to I think the other Peters are there. And I think he comes up and he sees Tobey Maguire's Peter. Hey, Peter.
yeah.
I think
Because he probably doesn't know Tom Holland. Peter.
yeah, he probably doesn't know Tom Holland. And I think that I honestly think the second I saw that trailer, the first thing I said in our group chat is, this is going to be the biggest money-making movie that Disney has ever done with Marvel.
Did you see
and
also
Sony's
today?
getting most of the money.
Did you also see today that they said the new report says Venom is not moving?
I did see that they're not moving Venom.
Yeah,
That's good.
because
but-
there's been a lot of things like if Shang-Chi doesn't do good this next week, then they're going to push Eternals, and I'm just like, don't start doing
Well,
that.
and Vulture, Michael Keaton has talked about this movie too, and he's like, I don't even know what's going on. I just do my part.
Yeah, 'cause
So
he said the whole it's all confusing.
yeah, it's all confusing. So Michael Keaton's in this movie as well. So you have the Vulture. We know that we have Electro. We know that maybe the Sandman might be in there.
Yeah, I've seen that.
There's been a lot of speculation that they hinted at him.
So
There's
the
people that say
Sinister's-
that they've tied Daredevil to this now, which has been a speculation since like Beyond.
That's
It's been-
like
it's
that
been a
was
while.
like before almost anybody. They said
but
he was going to.
They haven't said Daredevil. They said Matt Murdock.
Well,
Charlie
Charlie Cox.
Cox is signed
yeah.
up.
Wouldn't it be crazy if Ben Affleck walks out as the lawyer?
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Have you seen that?
Charlie Cox is some other character.
Yeah. Have you seen the meme for that where he's like talking about different people that have been multiple characters, and Ben Affleck's like, "That's cute, boys," and it's because he's like been Batman. He's been like a Superman for a thing, right?
Right.
Like really, but then he's been Daredevil.
Yeah, I saw
things.
that meme. It was pretty funny. But this movie is going to be as big as Endgame. I mean, it's gonna have. I mean, think of just the nostalgia alone.
It's interesting that
This
even
ties
though
back to 2001.
even though Eternals is like pushing the timeline forward, it still feels like Spider-Man ended the last phase and actually kicking off the next phase.
Yeah.
I will agree because
The other two are just kind of like filler.
Because we had a
movies.
blip here.
I feel like the other two are filler movies:
Yeah.
the Eternals and Shang-Chi.
I feel Black Widow.
Shang.
Black Widow was a
Chew.
2010ish prequel.
Ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with Shang-Chi, whatever.
It will be after the blip.
Yeah.
It's an origin story.
Yep.
It is, but we're gonna see Abomination. We know we're gonna see Wong. Mm-hmm. That's right? Doctor Strange.
You see Wong in.
He's all over the place
You
right
see,
now.
you see him in the Shang-Chi trailer.
You see him on going vacation. Like,
Yeah.
don't cast that spell. Okay, I won't.
We're possibly getting Fing Fang Foom.
Yeah,
I think that there's no. Who else would that be?
Yeah,
I think it's many people keep speculating. I'm like, who else is it? Is there another dragon?
But
I
Iron
don't know
Man
about
3
that looks
gave
just
us
like
the
that?
Mandarin
Right.
/ Trevor.
Yeah,
Supposedly he's in.
He
Shang-Chi.
is. He's
Yeah.
been reported.
yeah.
It's showing
that's
up.
awesome.
They're
Well-
going to probably like snap his neck.
Well,
like,
and they had a little mini thing that they kind of went into that more and said
Yeah.
that there is a real master
Mandarin.
that's in
Yeah.
wings.
That looked well in Iron Man 3, the DVD.
Yeah.
There was like a short.
Yeah, and I
that
think you
had him
can, but you can't find that anywhere. Like that was the only way you could get that.
Yeah, it was
that
on-
content.
it was on the
But
DVD.
I can't wait for next week. I want to see this movie. I'm excited that it has like a combat style scenario. I mean, it has a Mortal Kombat feel.
Yeah.
Like you're having to fight through an arena.
we probably
set.
won't see anybody's hat like
cut somebody in
cut
half.
somebody
It's
in
fine.
half.
I like that they're not going with power rings because that's so. I mean, we've already had the Infinity Gauntlet, which is pretty much that, right?
It's so cool because it's kung fu movie, and those were kung fu weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But I will say that I think overall, because we're going to get to the Eternals trailer next. And I'm excited about the Eternals trailer. Like this new trailer made me real happy. But I think
I still think that's what they're
Disney-
going to use for the mutants.
Disney kind of stepped on their own toes because they gave us the Eternals trailer, and we were all like, "Oh, okay, now we're ready for this movie." It explains why they weren't involved in Endgame, and, and then like a week later, they give us the trailer that everybody just like lost their shit about.
Did y'all see that they teased?
I just got tagged on the podcast. Cool.
They teased the trailer date in WandaVision.
The what?
They teased the trailer date in WandaVision.
Yeah, like the date on the calendar in the first episode of WandaVision was
and they
August
didn't know
23rd.
what the date was. They spent the whole episode trying to figure out what was so important about the
because
date.
it had the heart.
And that was
The date was
date
the
that
Spider-Man trailer?
trailer dropped.
Well, that's.
I can't believe they really.
I also think it's funny. You've seen all the memes where it's like the guy looking to the side, right? But it doesn't even say any Eternals. It's like Shang-Chi, Spider-Man trailer. Like in the Eternals isn't even any of those memes.
So I will.
Completely looked over.
The Eternals looks cool. Like I still don't. I don't know anything. I went into Guardians of the Galaxy not knowing anything about Guardians of the Galaxy.
This is how they're gonna. I think this is how they're gonna bring in mutants. They're gonna explain the fact that they created the deviants. They messed with genetics, made the Eternals, but they also left the gene in humans to eventually become mutants.
So they're just like mini.
That's what the
Eternals.
Celestials did. They experimented with the humans to
maybe that's why
eventually
they're
let them become mutants.
That's why they're protected. Maybe that's why they put Eternals on Earth to protect them.
Yeah, the
So that
Eternals
the-
are just super mutants. They're
So that the gene
they're
could
the,
eventually take over.
Who are the super
Immortals?
mutants? The immortal super mutants.
The Eternals.
Eternal.
You're talking about like Gideon.
yeah, they're Eternals too, aren't they?
Yeah, they're Eternals.
Yeah.
Damn, there you go. Yeah, you can just
So I think they're going to explain all
you
that.
can
with
finally
it.
merge those two Eternals together.
I still think that mutants will come about in Doctor Strange.
It's possible, but I think this is still going to have some like key phrases in there to let us know that
Yeah,
they're there.
But it looks cool. You got to see more powers. I mean, it just straight up explained why they didn't get involved in the Thanos thing.
Yeah, like
I didn't even know that. Like
they didn't have to watch the movie to find out.
Angelina Jolie's character was a cousin of Thanos.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until someone like I saw on Facebook that somebody pointed that out. I was like, oh, that's kind of neat.
Yeah, and then Ajax, which is what's her face?
Salma Hayek.
Yeah, Salma Hayek. She's actually the leader of them all.
Jack.
Ajax, yeah.
All I know is I'm excited about next week. I'm excited about November. I'm really excited about December now
Day after
because
my birthday.
Yeah, my birthday's around Eternals.
I just think I went from like, man, what is Marvel doing? Like, are we really going to roll
And we
out
got
with
Hawkeye coming this year too.
Black
still.
Widow? Are we really going to roll out with
Did they
Shang-Chi?
give
Are we
dates?
going to?
They haven't given a date to Hawkeye yet.
It'll
but
be
we
before
still
the end of
know-
the year.
It'll probably be, I would say, I'm surprised they haven't given a date yet, but it may be like right after Eternals.
Hawkeye number 1.
Typically, they
comes out
launch-
in November.
Yeah,
as far as
I would think
comics.
it's going to be around the time before Spider-Man comes. I bet we'll see Hawkeye.
So my estimation would be they would probably.
End of
So
October.
what if ends probably into September? How many episodes is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever
Probably
saw an episode count on
probably
on
be
that.
somewhere around the end of September.
I would think,
And then
October.
there'll be a week break, and then there will be something in October because The Mandalorian's December.
So all the Marvel shows so far have maxed out at like 8 episodes.
Yeah,
But
how
those are
many-
hour long.
Yeah,
Right.
The hour longs were about 6 episodes.
How many episodes was
Bad
Bad
Batch
Com-
was 16.
16, but those were 30 minutes,
Yeah.
20 to 30 minutes.
So who knows? I just know that all of a sudden I went from being worried about Phase 4 to super excited about Phase 4, and then Spider-Man just broke my brain. Like,
9 episodes in this season. They have stated there will be a second 9-episode season as early as late 2022.
and Agent Carter, we know, will have an episode in every season of What If. Like they will continue building her story. I saw that online.
Yeah, and
So-
we know that Chadwick Boseman is going to be, I think he had 4 total episodes that he voiced.
That's awesome because I thought that they said that the one that he was in was like his last.
No, he had 4 total episodes that he was able to voice.
Okay.
So,
So
don't know
all
what
in
they're
all,
all going to be, but
when the tentacle came out from Doc Ock, hit the bridge, did y'all's heart just jump? Like, this is the most... Because Doc Ock has been my favorite villain out of all of the Spider-Man movies.
yeah.
Like, Spider-Man 2 is actually probably one of my favorite Spider-Man movies. And I just hope we get Kirsten Dunst back.
As far as I know, she has been talked about being in there. I think the one we're probably not going to get is
Well, she's dead.
Yeah, but she could be a different.
other iterations of her. But it
Yeah.
would make sense if they brought in, if they bring in Miles and they want to do something there.
If they bring in Emma Stone as Spider-Gwen,
Yeah,
that'd be huge.
the world would lose its
But,
mind.
but she
that'd
would,
be huge.
but she'd be too old if they go the Miles route.
yeah, and that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of like, what do you want to do? Do you want her to come in that?
Yeah.
Maybe they bring her in as Gwenpool,
But Gwenpool's not Gwen Stacy.
No.
Still.
I do think Doc Ock looks cooler.
Yeah.
He looks way cooler.
It's also been 17 years since
Yeah.
that technology.
Well, he has more of the bowl cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got, instead of having the popped collar, it's all laid down. And
He's also 17 years older.
I really don't want to see Kristen Dunst as MJ.
Oh my gosh.
She's not supermodel pretty.
You don't understand though. Back then, she was everybody's crush.
She's not supermodel.
You're not old enough to understand. Like I bought that. I bought a photo of the upside down kiss on a youth retreat where I was the youth minister in that situation.
She's got British teeth. Supermodels don't have British teeth.
Tanner? Tanner?
She has been rumored to be in it.
She is beautiful.
Did we ever see?
You okay, Brandon?
They never showed it MJ in Garfield's, right?
No.
They never got around to it.
They didn't it was supposed to be.
It was supposed to be that Divergent girl.
Yeah.
That was going to be the.
Oh yeah.
It was going to be
She was-
her.
Yeah,
as
two
Mary Jane.
actresses that played Gwen Stacy. 3 if you count animated.
So this also leads me to the question. Okay, so they do the Spider-Verse thing where the 3 Spider-Mans come into play. Does this mean that they can go make more movies with those actors now?
don't
I
see
would
why
love
not.
that.
I don't see
Because
why not.
Andrew. Okay, so my ranking system of how I look at the 3 Spider-Mans. Tobey Maguire was by far the best Peter Parker. Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man. Like as a Spider-Man, the slinkiness, the commentary. Tom Holland has been the best, well-rounded of both worlds. And it would be so cool to get to see those guys come back, especially if Tobey Maguire is like homeless-looking dude from like Spider-Verse.
I think Tom Holland is a better younger Peter Parker, like Gwen Stacy Peter Parker, and Tobey Maguire is a better older, like working for the Bugle,
Which is what he'll be most likely if we see him in the movie.
kind of a thing.
He'll
So
be old,
What is your ranking?
Old Man Spider-Man.
I feel like your eyes.
Mine
have-
is.
I know Tanner's.
I think Andrew Garfield's the better, well-rounded one.
He was too hipster as Peter Parker.
It made sense for the time.
But
though.
if
it's
Peter
just because you're old.
if
Yeah,
Peter
I was gonna say
Parker
you're older.
if Peter Parker was born in the 2000s, he'd be a hipster.
But the whole idea of Peter Parker was a nerd.
That's
nerds
the
can be hipsters,
equivalent for the time periods. Though.
Hipsters are not nerds.
They're not mutually exclusive. You can be both.
They're not mutually exclusive.
Okay, continue. We can agree to
And
disagree.
then I'd put Tom Holland as my number 2 pick. I like him. I just don't like the direction that the studios took with the movies because I like to see Pete as a standalone character and not Iron Man's sidekick.
okay.
And then I
See
put
that.
Take Iron Man out of the equation, though. I mean, as him as Spider-Man.
But we don't get to see that. We don't get to see the scientist Pete very much
Yeah,
as Tom Holland.
I will say for the
because
Marvel
Iron
part
Man
of it,
built all of his suits as far as what we've seen on screen.
because you never got to see him create anything because they wanted to skip that. You
Yeah.
don't. I mean, at the very end when he's creating his new suit on the plane, right?
It was still Stark's
It
technology.
was still Stark technology. He was just taking over it all.
Yeah.
But you could
Yeah.
see that he had full understanding of what was happening. But
Yeah.
I mean, you still don't really get to see how smart he is.
And here's the thing: is
And he's one of the smartest people on the
MCU
planet.
Peter Parker has always had a mentor, right? Like every time we've seen him, he's either had Tony or he's had Happy
Or how strange this time.
and he'll have Strange. He always has somebody.
And that's-
Comic Peter Parker. That was part of his shtick. Is his mentor died,
right, and he had to figure all
and
this
he
out
had to
on his
figure it
own.
all on his own. So yeah, I get that a little bit.
I will say the whole,
So-
like, you don't have to call me Doctor Strange anymore.
If
okay,
it wasn't,
Steve.
if it wasn't for
allow
Spider-Man
it.
3, would Toby be higher?
No, I just don't like Toby as Spider-Man at all. He's not funny. He's not built like he's not lanky. He's pretty bulky.
Okay, you just turned 30, right?
Yeah.
So that would
think
make
that-
you born in like 91.
Yeah.
So let's see, the first movie would have come out when you were 10. Because I think it first
I think
movie,
that's a lot of it. I think that was we were just in awe of that movie when it came out.
It was right after X-Men, and again,
It still holds up. So
and it
in my
holds
opinion.
up. Like outside of Spider-Man 3, it holds up. Like I never had a problem with Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. Like he was just goofy enough. He was just quirky enough. Kirsten Dunst was amazing hot with her British teeth.
Although somehow she got whiter. I
Yeah,
I
she
never
did.
understood that. I was like, are they wiping that powder all over her entire body? Like, how did she get
as,
whiter?
As a natural blonde, she was becoming
She's
slightly too ginger white.
Ginger zombie.
yeah. They put her up in like
and
the
William
Iceland or something.
William Dafoe was a great first villain.
Definitely.
I was never really a fan of Harry Osborn.
Yeah.
I kind of thought that the range that Jerry or whatever Franco had was not very good.
I think they
I
pushed
think that's
that character too much anyway in both franchises.
Yeah.
I think that's another reason why I never really liked those movies as much, is because growing up watching the '90s animated series, and I didn't read comics until
Well,
I was,
Hobgoblin was more in that one, right?
right, and I
Yeah.
didn't read comics until I was already an adult. I just had the cartoons, so
Right.
having the cartoon background, I
Hobgoblin.
felt
was-
like Hobgoblin was the more.
I
important
remember
of the
Norman in
Goblin.
the animated series. Quite
he was
a bit.
he was in the animated
He was
series.
in it, but
Yeah,
he,
but Hobgoblin was the one I
first. He
remember.
was more important in the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, but that was because he was newer to the storyline.
Right, but-
It's the same reason why Gwen Stacy is all the rage, because to people my and Brandon's age, Gwen Stacy was dead when we started reading comics. She was a character that had been gone for 20 years.
Yep.
To the next generation of fans, like, we knew Gwen Stacy, we saw Peter struggle with that, we saw the clones, we saw all that.
Yeah.
But to the newer generation, she was a brand new character.
Yeah,
Right.
She's Spider
And
Yeah.
and
or Spider Woman, however you want to put her.
Ghost Spider.
you know,
Ghost
so
She's had both.
really, Andrew Garfield would have been your Spider-Man at the same age that Tobey Maguire was our Spider-Man.
That makes sense.
And so you're talking, because it was about 10 years between the first movies. And so for me, it was probably about the same thing. And honestly, again, Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, I will agree, was better than Tobey Maguire overall. Like, I liked Andrew Garfield's. I really wish he got a third movie. I think he got a bad rap in that second movie, and
I
that wasn't
think-
his fault.
All the
Yeah.
Spider-Man parts of Spider-Man were good. All the bad guy parts of his
Yeah,
Spider-Man were bad.
Rhino was terrible. Electro was terrible. Lizard, I mean, whatever was going on with the face sucked. It should have been the full, like, alligator face.
Well,
They
and
messed
Harry,
that up.
the way they did Harry
Yeah,
Osborn.
Harry
He looked-
Osborn.
He looked like the Goombas from the Mario Brothers.
And I
movie.
really,
that
needed
comes
that
again.
black cat. I really
Elevator
needed
scene.
that black cat to happen, because it was going to be the girl from Rogue One as Black Cat, and I was really ready for that, because she's also really hot.
with British teeth.
And she does have British teeth, but she's actually British, so it's fine.
No, the best Spider-Man was animated and paired with Iceman and Firestar. And his
That was before our age, wasn't it?
we were little.
I never
That's
saw
the
it.
first Spider-Man I ever remember watching was Spider-Man and his amazing
So
friends.
I did not. I don't remember that at all. Like, the first Spider-Man I legitimately remember is the cartoon on Fox.
Yeah.
That's the first Spider-Man I remember.
I remember that, and then I didn't get to watch that. Remember, I think I watched like Spider-Man 2099 a little bit more on the
I thought
weekends.
that one was cool.
They actually did an animated 2099?
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
It's
It's
kind
not
of-
2099. It's Spider-Man Unlimited.
Yeah,
Unlimited.
yeah.
Okay,
He
yes.
But
goes,
the suit is similar.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
All I know is, like, I don't know what they're going to do, how they're going to pull this off. Like, the entire Phase 4 is about the multiverse being broken. Because, I mean, you've got Spider-Man multiverse stuff, Doctor Strange multiverse stuff. You have
Loki.
Ant-Man quantumverse stuff.
See, and I think it's weird too that they almost kind of make it look like Doctor Strange broke it,
but
but
then
it's already broken. So how are we going to figure that out?
But a
You know
lot
what
of
I mean?
lot of people were talking about, did it happen at the exact same time
And I
as
think that
Sylvie
we're going
broke
to
it?
see a lot of that stuff,
Here's
right?
the problem. Yes and no.
Because it's a different thing.
It's all timelines simultaneously at once. Everything, when in Kang's Little World,
The only-
everything happened.
The only characters that can observe it being broken are Loki, Sylvie, and
Kang.
because they were
and
outside of the timeline.
Right.
But everyone in the timeline, it is both one timeline and multiple timelines at the same time.
So all I know is, like, the entire Phase 4 is going to be this, like, broken time.
Yeah.
Which means nothing is off limits. I mean, we can introduce mutants. We can introduce the Fantastic Four, however we want to do. We can bring back a different Captain America if we want.
Yeah,
Now,
I think that
we
is
do-
the big thing. It opens up recasting.
We're just Doctor Who in this thing like crazy
yeah,
now.
it opens up recasting like
yeah.
easy.
You know, now we can bring in a new Iron Man if we wanted, but we're going to go with Riri in the Wakanda show. It's
Yeah,
fine, which is fine.
No, we're going to go with Riri, see how the box office does.
Well, but she's
and then
going to be
wait
Disney
a couple
Plus.
years and we'll bring another.
Yeah, she's on Disney
Stars.
Plus.
She's Disney Plus. They're not bringing her in.
She's
by
a TV
movie.
show.
That's what I'm saying. But here's the thing: is they don't have to be.
Now, when we
They
get,
don't have to be fully entrenched with one actress.
She's
or
Ironheart,
actor.
right?
yeah, she's Ironheart.
They've already said her first appearance is going to be in
Black
Black
Panther
Panther 2.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, and the other thing is, I almost wonder if they're taking a page with these younger actors out of the Netflix shows. I'm going to introduce Jessica Jones here. I'm going to introduce Iron Fist here. I'm going to
Yeah.
introduce, and then we're going to have a Champions, and then we're going to have a Young Avengers, and we're going to see how that rolls. And if it does well, we'll move them up to the big level. If it
I
doesn't,
am curious how they're going
they'll
to
disappear forever.
how they're going to explain. I mean, I guess they didn't really explain any of the people in the Defender series really that well, but how they're going to explain Miss Marvel's powers. Since
Is she
they
gonna be an- is she
since
gonna
they
be an Inhuman
signed
or not?
they signed lined Inhumans, you know.
Yeah.
But it also sounds like they may be bringing back like Quake and some of these people in the Fury show.
Or they bring her in as a mutant.
Secret Invasion.
I think that they're not. I think they just ignore what they did with the Inhumans altogether.
Well, I
and
think
they
they, again they've given themselves the ability to do that by opening up the multiverse.
Yeah, I mean, as you keep building off the Kree, you can then keep building off of actually bringing the Inhumans the right way.
The Kree were the inventors of Inhumans, so.
Right. So, all in all, the Marvel MCU trailers went from what the hell are we doing to oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
And then the Disney Plus shows only build on that. And I absolutely am totally sold on. I think Phase 4 is going to be amazing.
So speaking of Disney Plus shows, What If?
What if? It's been fun, and of course the creator has said he's constrained. He can't introduce new characters, so we're not going to get anything just
Kind of. I
revolution.
mean, in a way, Captain Carter is a brand new character.
Yes, but I mean he can only build on already established characters and stuff like that.
I wished Captain Carter was longer. I wish it was more than 30 minutes. Like I got to the end of it, it's like
Yeah, no, it was great.
I couldn't wait for the second episode to be over.
The second episode was
Star-Lord
Oh,
is
yeah.
like the whole idea that because Black Panther went to space as a kid that he could convince Thanos not to do what Thanos was going to do was just stupid to me. Like the show lost me at that. Mm-hmm. Like some kid is like, "Hey, you're being stupid, Thanos." Oh, I guess I am. Like
I don't want to kill half of everybody now.
like it just
Yeah.
I did like the twist with like Peter Quill ego going in just picking up Peter Quill from the Dairy Queen that got destroyed in the movie, but
Yeah.
like I did not enjoy the second episode at all.
I didn't like the
I don't
newest
like
one very
I don't like
much.
third one too.
And I think that's just because like they just destroyed everything you've been invested in for the last 10 years. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But I didn't really like the
I
third
mean-
one that much.
Seeing Pym in the yellow jacket suit was that's probably the only way we're ever going to see Yellow Jacket Pym.
Yeah.
So
I just overall, again, I love the Agent Carter, but I also love the Carter show. I love Haley Atwell. She's also a beautiful woman that I enjoyed watching on TV and in the movies.
British teeth.
British teeth. Apparently, I have a thing for British teeth. Apparently,
You're either you like British women that have teeth. I mean, that's a good requisite.
Kirsten
or
Dunst is-
non-British women that have British style teeth.
yes, and look good as a redhead. So, but like, I'm excited that they're still using her in a way, and that they're still bringing her into the MCU. And I would, again, if they would just go back and now do a Chris Evans, like just solo movie that doesn't have to tie to anything, like it would be amazing.
Well, we know it all has to lead back to Secret Wars, and the Russo brothers already flat out came out and said he'll be back for that.
Chris, they said that?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
It'd be the easiest way for Marvel to tell that story. They could just do a limited print run. I mean, they could make a book about it. They wouldn't have to pay a whole lot of money to do it, and they could tell that story.
Nope. I want the movie.
Well, I'm just saying.
Chris Evans is part of my favorite part of like all of this MCU stuff. Like out of all the actors, Chris Evans was like the standout to me. And so when they retired him, I was real sad, and I understand why they retired him. But
And I know he wanted a break because he wanted to try some other stuff, but as a reason that he's not dead,
yeah, I mean,
like Robert Downey Jr.
yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is straight up dead, but they can replace him with AI. Like he could come back as a voice actor inside of Riri's armor,
And yeah,
and then he doesn't have to do all the physical stuff. He can just be a voice in a box.
yeah.
But Chris Evans, I mean, they sent him back in time, which means they have unlimited ability to tell stories about his adventures between the time he went back to see Carter. Because what if the story is he didn't actually end up marrying Carter at all? What if they were just together for a while and then he split and found a new wife?
They got divorced. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much to like that story. Like, what if behind the scenes, like everything that S.H.I.E.L.D. was doing, he was involved in, but it was like a silent partner in a business. Like nobody knew where he was at.
Yeah, because he was Hydra the whole time.
Yeah, he was Hydra the whole time. I guess in one of his little time jumps, he became Hydra.
Secret Empire, here we
Yeah.
come.
And by the time he got to to giving the shield to Falcon. He unbrainwashed himself.
Yeah, listen, if Kevin Feige does Secret Empire, then we're like, okay, he's done. he's had his run. He's starting to come up with Nick Spencer story stuff. All right.
We'll probably see a Battle World before that.
And we know that they're done with Scarlett Johansson forever. So
I don't know. See,
Not
Kevin
necessarily.
Feige's still on her side. A lot of the other cast are still on her side.
But
It is-
but Disney is not.
Yes,
But
Disney.
they fired James Gunn. He
Yeah,
went
correct.
to the DC movie, and they want him back. She'll
Yeah.
go do a DC movie, and they'll want her back.
Yep. I don't think it really. Ultimately, I think Feige wants ScarJo.
Whatever Feige
gets
wants,
ScarJo.
Feige gets.
So I think
He's
that's
kind
really
of
ultimately how it
written
is.
his ticket. So
I mean,
Yeah.
he's only made them billions and billions
Yeah.
and billions.
It's like, oh, do you
and
think it's
billions
gonna?
of dollars?
Oh, you want us to give her the money? Okay, yeah, you got it, Feige.
He probably just wrote a check out of his own account and said, "Here you go. Talk to you later."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know that he's getting a cut of every movie. So
Well, yeah, he's a producer for everything.
yeah.
So.
So overall, not impressed by What If. I like the story of
I like the animation style.
the animation style's neat. I actually do
entertaining.
find yeah. I don't know how I feel about Steve Rogers in an Iron Man suit that early. Like that kind of to me was
Did you-
Tony's invention,
Yeah, you figured it was going to be
not Howard's.
how? Yeah,
I think it would have been cool to
Necessity.
do something, but it was too much looking like Iron Man. Like
I would have liked to have seen different animation styles for each one.
which is what Visions will be. Star Wars Visions will be
Yeah.
different animated,
Different Asian
animations.
style. But I mean, just like Love, Death and Robots or something, every animation style just kind of fit its theme.
the last thing that I do want to bring up, because we've talked about What If and now we're to the outro, is just as convention season is fully kicked off. Don't mute me.
I'm just waiting.
Don't mute me.
I'm just waiting. What are you going to talk about?
I'm not talking about COVID.
Okay.
All right. So I just want to remind all of you young, new convention goers that never got to go to a convention, maybe before you go and buy a my size
Not the guy.
Snorlax?
Not the guy that bought its size. Darren's size. 6'3".
before you go buy
Couple hundred
a my
pounds.
size Snorlax Pokemon thing, before the show even begins, maybe invest in the idea of how do I get this home.
It's like an anxiety stuffed
trailer.
animal. It's an anxiety
But
stuffed
if
animal.
we didn't have it, you know what his plan was? His plan for this giant Snorlax that was bigger than Emily in every dimension of bigger than Emily was it'll sit between us and we'll just love on it all the way back to Amarillo.
He seems very adamant about this too.
He is. And so I made him get in the truck with the Snorlax, and then I put the Snorlax in his lap, which, by the way, still invaded the passenger side of the thing. And then I pushed my seat all the way back during the drive back, so it is like pressed against
Did
him.
he drive the whole way back that way?
No, I put the Snorlax in the trailer. But back to the Airbnb he did. And then I turned the heat on full blast and locked all the windows. And I was like, Derek, I just need you to understand.
He was going to snore with Snorlax with that hot.
And I was like, Derek, I just need you to understand what you have done wrong here. I think I understand. I was like, no, Derek, I need you. And the heater's just going, and the girls are just begging me to like let them roll down the windows, and I'm not.
Which is ironic that the girls would be
Yeah,
like,
because it was real hot already, and we had just walked down like half a mile to the car in the heat, and then I turned up the heat, and he's just sitting there. He's like, I'm just not going to say it. I can outlast you. I was like, Derek, you don't understand. For this game, I can go on for like an hour with this heat on full blast.
I can do this all day.
And like he kept going, and it was about 45 seconds later. He's like, Darren, I understand the mistake of my ways. So, just for
I
all of
understand Amy has a photo of him in the car with Snorlax as well.
yeah, and it's
But
on
I haven't
social
seen
media because Anna took a lot of photos of it as well. Because like when we were there, we had to have 3 in the back seat, and Snorlax invaded into the middle seat and the passenger seat, even though it was intentionally sitting in Derek's lap. And Anna's just taking pictures of the whole thing. So if you want to see it, just go look up Anna's Facebook page. It's on there of Derek squished by the Snorlax. But all you new convention goers, this is just one of those commercial, what would it be called? Like service announcements?
PSA.
Yeah, this is a PSA. Maybe don't buy something your size day one of a convention. Wait and see if it's still there in the last day.
Before you put money down, the question needs to be, how is this getting home?
But they literally sat in the booth the entire show right behind Anna. I
There-
guess, right?
No, we moved it. Like it didn't fit. It took up too much space. We had to like drag. I made him. during the show, take it out to the truck.
There's a reason UPS and FedEx set up booths at conventions.
Do I want to carry this all
That would have
day?
been a bugger to ship too.
It would have. It
been
was. It was
expensive.
huge.
It would have been like, we're just going to have to ship it out of a box. Was
Yeah.
tape it label to it.
Put a label on it and hope for the
Right at the
best.
belly.
So that
Comes
is your
back with no
unknown
head.
comic service announcement about conventions for 2021. Maybe think about your purchases before you buy them.
Buy a smaller squishy. You don't need one life-sized.
Yeah, you just need neck pillow.
But he did sleep on it like 3 of the nights, so he did get uses as a bed. So I guess to
you
each
go.
their own.
Whatever
All
sinks your ship.
All right, everyone. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you've been a good guest. So we'll be back next week. I guess we're going to see Shang-Chi after, or are we going to do it before? Do we know?
Maybe after. We'll look and see what the movie times are.
If we're not live next week, we'll definitely still have a podcast next week, and if we don't go live, then at least that next podcast will talk about Shang-Chi.
Yep.
So
Shang-Chi.
if not, whatever. So thank you for joining us.
We're going to see Chi.
It's Shang-Chi. We will catch you next week. Have a great week.
Bye, y'all.